It's a sunny day and we're going for cinematic footage. That's what we want. Can you get cinematic footage out of the GoPro? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Cinematic footage is a phrase that's out there everywhere. Everybody's talking about cinematic footage, and it boils down to something really simple. The simple settings for cinematic looking footage that our eyes see as cinematic, our brains process as cinematic, is your frame rate. So if, for instance, we're shooting at 24 frames per second, around that is what most films are filmed at. Your shutter speed has to be 1/50. So you are doubling the frame rate. For instance, if we're shooting at 120 frames per second slow motion, your shutter speed should be 240. All you have to do is double your frame rate with your shutter speed, and then you'll get that motion blur in the picture and the cinematic feel. Cinematic is basically what our eyes see. We see in about a 50mm field of view, and we see that 24 frames per second. That's why most films are filmed in 24 frames per second. It's that nice, you get that motion blur. That's what cinematic effectively is, motion blur in the picture. And this, at the moment, you're not going to get motion blur. I can see myself on the screen here. There isn't much motion blur because what the GoPro does, it's got a fixed aperture. The ISO is automatic as well, so it could be anything from 100 all the way up to 16,000, I think it goes to. But then the shutter speed is automatic as well. So this shutter speed is probably, it's bright now, the shutter speed is probably about 1/1000th of a second, and that captures the image really sharp. It makes it sharp, makes it like it captures every frame that I'm doing, every waving of the hand and everything. Every frame that it records is really, really quick, so you get a nice sharp picture. To get that motion blur, to get that cinematic footage, you need a shutter speed that's much, much slower. But that will really blow out the image, and I'll show you what it will look like if I do that now. So these are the settings that I'd recommend you use, but without having the ND filter on. This is horrible. This is what it would look like. That's why you need an ND filter. I'll swap over to the actual ND filter now, because this is horrible. This is with the ND filter from Telesin. This is the ND30. It's quite bright today, so I've got the maximum one on there. Same settings, and this is what the ND filter does. It just gives you that nice motion blur, that cinematic feel to the footage, and that's why you need ND filters with your GoPro if you want to get this kind of look. I will put on the screen somewhere now the actual settings that I use, and you can use those, copy them down. I will link them in the description down below so you can go and copy them. The only one caveat with this is that you have to have Hypersmooth turned off, because when you've got Hypersmooth turned on, it just doesn't work. The footage and the software can't work with the ND filter. It just doesn't look good. So you might want to use a gimbal, something like the Ohm gimbal I've got for the GoPro. I'm going to be reviewing that soon, so if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, press the bell so you don't miss any of those future uploads coming up really, really soon. But if you're careful and you walk like this, then it still looks pretty good. You haven't got Hypersmooth, and that Hypersmooth is amazing, I totally agree. But to get this kind of picture, using this with the gimbal, I'd fully recommend that, to be honest, because this picture, man, it just looks so good. If there's any negatives I could pick up on with these Telesin ND filters, is that the edge is quite slippy. So instead of having like a rubberized edge so you could push it on and easily get it off the lens, it's sort of a chrome metal lens. So it's I mean, they're well built, and they've got like a rubber inside, so it fits nicely and sticks on there once it's on. But it's a little bit difficult, a little bit slippy to get off. So I prefer it to have like a rubberized edge around there, just for an extra little bit of grip. But that's nitpicking. The picture looks good. There's no sort of color casting or anything like that. It does look very good. They are very good quality things, so I fully recommend these. Like I said, Telesin ND filters, go and check them out in the description down below. And that is why you need ND filters with your GoPro to get sick cinematic footage. I mean, just look at it side by side with this loser over here. Normal 4K sharpening, GoPro horrible sharp footage. Yeah, looking at you. Yeah, that's right. Not as good as this, are you? No, you're not. I know. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Now, there is one more thing that these ND filters would be fantastic for with the GoPro, and what ND filters were specifically designed for, I think originally, was for photography. Now, I'm going to do a video soon on taking some photos with and without the ND filters and see what kind of effects you can get with these ND filters when it comes to taking photos with this wicked camera that's got 24 megapixels on this new GoPro, especially on the new GoPro 10 is even better. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing that very soon, and that should be a fun video as well. And that's it for this video. So I hope it helped. Like I said, all the settings that I use again will be in the description down below. These ND filters are linked down below as well. That is an affiliate link, so it does help this channel grow if you do purchase through that link, but it doesn't cost you any extra. And subscribe, press the bell, give this video a like. It really does help me and the channel grow, so thanks a lot. Until next time though guys, take it easy. See you on the next one. Bye.